Welcome to week number 5 of Major League Table Tennis. MLTT is coming to you live from your very own Chicago, Illinois. And now I will bring in the officials for the matches today. Put your hands together for Linda Leaf and Jovana Kejnovic. And the first challengers for today, the number 2 team. Make some noise for Carolina Gold Rush! And their opponents, the 4th place team. I see the owners in the crowd. Make some noise for Princeton Revolution! Alrighty, now that all the warriors are here, let's shake some hands and slap some skins and let the games begin.
We welcome you to the Windy City. We are in Chicago, Illinois for this East Division MLTT weekend. And our Friday doubleheader begins with the Princeton Revolution and the Carolina Gold Rush. Unseasonably warm day in Chicago. It's very pleasant for November. And this is going to be a highly competitive weekend. We begin with Carolina and Princeton. The last time they played, Carolina won the Golden Game in thrilling fashion to erase the 10-5 deficit coming from behind. Carolina chasing Florida atop the East. Later tonight, we'll see Florida and Chicago. I'm Evan Lepler, and it is so great to welcome in Matt Hetherington to the MLTT broadcast team. Matt, before we get into the specifics of the weekend, I'm just curious to get your bird's eye view as a longtime table tennis aficionado, what you have thought of the league so far.
Honestly, for me to be here now is amazing. I've been on the edge of my seat watching the live streams week in, week out. These matches, it's really something different. It's exciting to have a professional table tennis league starting here in the US, but to have it in a format that's not seen anywhere else in the world really brings something special to it as well.
Look forward to getting into all of your thoughts from the first couple of months, but let's take a look at the opening lineup for today. We begin with some big hitters, Leong and Enzo Angles. What else catches your eye on the lineup for the evening?
A couple of things. Obviously, Princeton Revolution trying out a new doubles combination with Prishepa and Angela Guan. So we'll see how they go up against quite the reliable pairing of Enzo and Honglin. And for me, Wong and Roman in the last match, this is their 3rd meeting out of 3. And they've taken one victory each so far, but have had really close matches. So that 4th singles match is one that I'm looking forward to as well.
4 of the 6 games they've played have been 11-10. Another was 11-9. But let's dive in to Jishan and Enzo. Enzo currently number 2 in the MLTT power rankings. He's been a phenomenally versatile and dominant player, a tough guy to beat. He took 2 out of 3 from Jishan when they met in Myrtle Beach in October.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why he's one of the top players in the league. He is a very, you can just see how motivated he is to lead his team by example. He gets out there and he gets down to business. And he's a player that will really just find any way possible to win a point from the depths of impossibility. He just keeps going after everything to try and pull out the win. So definitely a strong player.
And Jishan took a game off him when they met a month ago. I mean, he went 4-2 in singles in his first MLTT weekend, and he's also a lefty, so a lefty going against a lefty.
Yeah, interesting matchup. Always when you have 2 left-handers, it's hard to see how things can go. Jishan obviously has an enormous forehand game, so For him, if he can get into those powerful forehands, he's got a chance against anyone in this league.
Princeton Revolution begin this weekend in 4th place in the East, but they've really got their full lineup together, I think, for the first time all year, and kind of the pieces seemingly in place. If they can get doubles going, Pappa and Wong will be the doubles combo, or Pappa and Guan, I should say. But Jishan will try to set the tone here early against Enzo. We are at the Wintrust Sports Complex in Bedford Park, just outside of Chicago. It's basically Chicago. Reminder of the competition format in MLTT, 4 singles matches. They're all 3 games to 11. The 1 doubles match. Turns out in this team match, it'll be mixed doubles with Pappa and Guan against Angles and Hong Lin. And then the golden game, which is worth 6 points, 1 game to 21 with the players alternating every 4. You've followed MLTT from afar. As you've watched your first golden game, what was going through your mind?
I think it's just the fact that it doesn't matter how many points are played. You always feel like you have no idea who's going to win, right down until the very last point that's scored. So it's a nail biter for sure.
Princeton and Carolina played in September, played in October. Both golden games between these 2 teams were 21-19. Great to have you with us wherever you are. The 5th MLTT weekend. It's the 3rd East Division weekend, and it's a real important one as we kind of inch toward the mid-season. And Jishan Leong will serve first against Enzo Angles. Enjoy. Enzo so far in MLTT has just put together some really good numbers. To your point, Matt, he does things to stay in points that are just unusual and uncommon.
Yeah, and I mean, he's throwing big punches back from the table as well, where a lot of players would typically play more defense.
Leong's on the board. Enzo 13-5 in singles. No one in the league has more singles games wins than he does. He's tied with Ko-Lei. Ko-Lei #1 in the power rankings. For the Portland Paddlers, Enzo Angles #2. Neither player wins a point on their serve the first couple offerings.
A little surprising. Obviously, both players will be a little bit, maybe a little tentative. I mean, knowing how powerful each player's attacks are, you can see that, especially Enzo's trying to keep the ball short to the forehand. But typically, once the rally opens up, you'll see a lot from those backhand diagonals with 2 lefties.
6 straight points won by the returner.
Opens up, you'll see a lot from those backhand diagonals with 2 lefties.
6 straight points won by the return. Enzo, of course, was the #1 pick in the inaugural MLTT draft that was held in August. Yikes. I'm not sure I've seen a match in MLTT where the server did not win a point any of the first 7 of the game until now.
Until right now. Yeah, definitely unusual. And typically left-handers have different serve variations that they'll use. So a lot of left-handers have good serve advantage.
It was a good deep serve from Leong, but Enzo handled it well and takes a 6-3 lead. What do you see as the keys for Jishan to handle Enzo's power?
I don't think it's so much for him about handling power. It's about not allowing it to happen in the first place. So Jishan's a player who has to move first. And when he does move first and he positions himself well to play forehand, I would say quite comfortably that he has the biggest and hardest forehand in this league.
The biggest and hardest forehand in the league, you think, is Jishan Leong?
Yeah. The real question for him is it comes down to whether or not he can position himself to make those shots. And so far, Enzo's doing a really good job of making sure that it doesn't happen, or if he does get in position, he's not quite able to transfer as much weight. So
10-3 lead for Angles.
quite able to transfer as
And
much
a
weight.
slew of game points to get the day started. Enzo Angles with an efficient destruction of Jishan Leong in game number 1.
Sets up Caroline's bullseye. Took a 1-0 lead. First point has been taken.
That's a really, really decisive start. Again, Enzo really taking that role of leadership for this team. Yeah, typically, I think he was able to get away with a little bit that maybe later on in the match he might not be able to get away with. Some of his serve returns short to Jishan's forehand were quite loose. They were a little bit high. Against someone like Jishan, you don't want to do that. You're putting yourself at a huge amount of risk. But Jishan just looked quite unsettled. He didn't really play big forehands. Almost a little bit tentative. Even that last ball that you just saw kind of overreaching. If he gets into a good pattern where he's able to really hit through the ball, then things will shift a little bit here. But so far, Enzo's looking pretty well in control.
Jishan getting some words of wisdom from his coach, Matthias Habasson, along with his teammates, Jinshin Wong and Yevgen Prishepa. Last time the Revolution played the Gold Rush, Jishan didn't just play singles, he also played doubles, which meant he was going head-to-head with his wife, Hong Lin, who's going to be Enzo's doubles partner. And Hong is Jishan's life doubles partner, but in LTT. Oh, catching the edge, and Enzo off to a good start in game 2.
Quick footwork on the step around from Enzo Angles. Another surface error. Second match.
2 of the 4 points that Jishan's got have been on Enzo's surface errors, just gifts. That caught. Best shot of the day, best forehand of the day so far for Jishan Leong. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, typically we've seen Enzo actively stay away from that. So again, playing that backhand diagonal is a little bit safer for him.
Ooh. Great angle from Leong on the reply, and a 3-2 lead here in game 2.
Catches him down the line again. It's always a big risk when you're playing against someone who's naturally anchored in the corner, is stepping around and hitting a forehand into their kind of comfortable position. So Jishan able to hit 2 clean winners down the line.
Leong was unavailable in September, so he made his MLTT debut in October. He went 5-4 in singles down in Myrtle Beach. That reply has been there for Jishan here in game 2. Onglace looking down at his paddle as if to say, how dare you betray me?
It's another example of what we saw in the first game. Like the serve, the short receive's not that tight. It's a little bit high. Both players have struggled to finish points against that ball. It's a little bit high. Both players have struggled to finish points against that ball.
We've seen this from Onglace in the past. If he makes an error or two, you can feel the frustration from the body language. And it seems like it comes from the incredibly high expectations that he has for himself.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, he's wearing the mantle for the team here of getting the ball rolling from the first match.
To that point, the last time that Carolina played Princeton, Carolina only had 5 of the 15 points heading into the Golden Game. 4 of those 5 points were from Enzo. Best rally of the day so far, and frankly, it's not even close.
This really tells you everything you need to know about this second game. Is Jishan's come out here, obviously knowing that he was maybe overplaying a little bit, being tentative with the forehand. This game, he's just come out and really taken more control, especially with the backhand.
Leong takes the 8-7 lead on his serve. Excellent backhand from Onglace. Really putting the pressure on Leong. So we're tied 8-8.
And Jishan really just comfortable there, standing on his backhand, controlling the ball, changing the placement. He's been able to take a lot of the pressure of the first game off himself here in the second.
Footwork for Onglace was off kilter from the start. He dropped the paddle after the point. Jishan Leong has a pair of game points to even up this opening singles match, 1 game apiece. Oh, what a winner. Onglace stays alive here in game 2 when it felt like Leong was about to seize control. Timeout taken by the Princeton Revolution. Leong's got 1 serve here, up 10-9 to try and close this out, Matt. If Onglace can win the point, then he will have the serve at 10-all.
Yeah, it's difficult to know what Jishan's bench would tell him in this situation. I mean, obviously, his strength is to serve and position himself to play bigger forehand attacks. But this game, he's done so well from just maintaining control and kind of winning points, I guess, in a way that Enzo wouldn't necessarily expect from him. So it's a matter of whether he continues playing in a way that's helped him win in this game or whether he goes, I guess, you could say for the element of surprise, but it's also the element of the obvious, which is to put his foot down on the attack here and try and close out this last point.
Do you like the early timeout call here?
Yeah, I mean, I think they need this. I think this match matters a lot for them. If they can position Jishan here to come out of this with a 2-1 win against Enzo, that could be the make or break for them, honestly.
Game point, Jishan Leong. 10-all. So after 11-3 in game one, we go the distance in game two. The first golden point here in Chicago between Angles and Leong. Enzo to serve. Angles comes from behind. A 3-0 run and a huge fist pump as he takes game two, 11-10.
This is him finding a way. You can see he really stepped up you can see how much confidence there is in his shots when he knows that he has to win these points. You know, there were a couple of points in there throughout the middle of that game where you could see a little bit of uncertainty. Maybe he was swinging a little bit too big, a little bit frustrated, but when it comes down to it with Enzo, he just knows how to turn it up, and fearlessly as well.
I like what you said in the open, Matt, about kind of his commitment and determination to be great. Not that other players don't have that dynamic as well, but Enzo doesn't feel burdened by the responsibility of being the #1 pick. It feels like it almost empowers him to be great.
I think so. I really think so. It's kind of like the bar has been set for him, but he's not really content to meet the bar. He's always trying to kind of push the boundary, and you can see even in his body language, every win for the team really, really means something for him. And again, you know, he's in a position where he's being put out in the first match, and that really holds a lot of pressure for the team to be the first person out there to kind of set the tone for the rest of the match. And I think he really rises to the occasion incredibly well.
More often than not, Enzo has been in that first singles spot for the Gold Rush.
Looks like the scorecard is missing a 2.
You never know what issues you might run into. Linda Leaf, new MLTT umpire.
I would flip the whole score. I would flip the whole thing around and then flip the 2 from the other side.
Look at this resourcefulness, though.
Yeah.
They're ready.
Is there a 2?
There is. All right, what's going through Jishan Leong's mind right now? He feels like he should be 1-1. He's down 0-2.
First game, I think, a little bit over-aggressive. Second game, controlled, which worked very well. It's kind of for him about maintaining the control, but finding the opportunities to be aggressive. I mean, throughout the end of the second game, and even now starting in this third, we're typically seeing Enzo as the initiator in the points. And that's not great for Jishan.
Angles, the Frenchman, 28 years old. A 3-1 lead here in game 3. He went 8-1 in singles in Daytona Beach in September. And he went 5-4 in singles in Myrtle Beach. He was not as dominant in the second East Division weekend, but he still went 5-4, still finished with a winning record. Still went 7-2 in doubles, mind you, playing with Hong Lin.
Just steady, steady attack there from Enzo on the step around forehand.
Enzo's had winning records in the Golden Game, scoring more points than he loses, both in Myrtle Beach and Daytona Beach. You and I were near Lake Michigan today, but it did not feel as tropical as Daytona Beach, Florida, or Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That's for sure.
There's a little bite to it.
We had a brunch outside, though, and yes, there was a heater nearby, but in the sun, it felt comfortable.
It was good. It was a nice day today.
Nicer than 2 weeks ago when you were in Chicago. 6-2 lead now for Angles.
You can really see now the psychological impact that that second game has had.
For sure. I'm not sure who out there does not have Enzo Angles on their fantasy team, but for all the
They
folks
don't.
that
They're
do,
going straight to the bottom of the table after this.
I mean, that's the way the MLTT fantasy is set up. It's pretty easy to take the top players, and if they deliver, then it's more about who else you took, which middle tier players are going to have a good weekend. And I know that Sean O'Neill, that is his primary focus going into this weekend, because he was not pleased with his fantasy team's performance a couple weeks ago in Houston. It's not there for Leong and Angles with a slew of game points to complete the 3-0 sweep. Needs at least one more. That'll do it. Enzo Angles comes from behind in game 2, but thoroughly dismantles Jishan Leong in games 1 and 3 en route to a 3-0 sweep to begin the weekend for the Carolina Gold Rush. That was clinical.
Yeah, you could definitely see the impact that that second game had in terms of confidence of both players.
Enzo's put the headset on and joins us now. Enzo, congratulations. Good to see you again. A very exciting second game. Let's go right to there. What's going through your mind? We saw a little bit of frustration as you look down at your paddle in game 2. How'd you pull that one out?
I just play so bad, but that's fine. Sometimes you play good, sometimes you play bad. If when you play bad, you still manage to win, it's positive. But yeah, it was a lot of mistake. But it's the first game, it's always hard. And yeah, it's new hole, new conditions, but determination is still there. So let's keep it up. And 10-8, it's not the end. So it was good. It was good to win this set because maybe after I could lose 2-1 because he's a good player, of course.
Yeah, and I noticed a lot throughout the match that you managed to keep Jishan in quite a passive place or in a more controlled place where a lot of the time he's swinging forehands. Tactically for you, what were some of the bigger factors in kind of keeping him in a more controlled manner and off his bigger forehand attack?
Because I think the first set, he missed a lot of forehand by having the wish to be very aggressive, right? I think after he had to calm down and to make me play a little bit, and it worked. It worked actually because it was 10-8, and I made a lot of mistakes that usually I don't make, but today I make. So it's like this, and then I had to manage with what I had today. So yeah.
Enzo, does it feel like you're developing a routine for Major League Table Tennis now? This is the third weekend you've played.
What type of routine do you think?
In terms of arriving and feeling comfortable in the new venue and reconnecting with your teammates and getting ready for a weekend?
Yeah, we are used to that, traveling the world and then arrive. You know, sometimes you just travel so many hours and then play one game, play 15 minutes, and then out, and you go back home with that, you know. So you have to adapt as fast as you can to be able to be in the best conditions.
MLTT made you travel an extra time zone for this weekend compared to the previous two. Did that impact you at all?
Exactly. But no, it's okay. We are used to it. Even for the body, it's not so good, but we have to manage it and take care of the body as well.
Well, I know you didn't feel great about how you played in game 2, but you got the 3-0 sweep. Heck of a way to start the weekend. We'll see you in doubles in a little bit. Thanks,
yeah,
Enzo.
That's went better for the team. Thank you.
All right, second singles coming up. Koyo Kanamitsu from Japan for the Revolution. And good to see Bastian Dupont again. We didn't see him in Myrtle Beach in October, but he was a solid contributor for Carolina in Daytona Beach in September. And as we look at Dupont, I'm curious to hear, Matt, what you're most looking forward to about this match.
I think it's going to be a really interesting match. Obviously, Dupont had a great start in the league, winning in week 1 over Prishepper in his singles. Koyo is kind of a mystery player. You know, a lot of players know that he's quite a high-level player. We've seen a little bit of up and down from him. So, you know, we know the levels there. A lot of questions really about whether his opponents can kind of lock him down or whether his top level is going to come out. So the challenge is on for Bastien Dupont, but, you know, I love matches like this because you see a lot of different style matchups. So, you know, a more European style, a more Asian style or Japanese style. So there's a lot of different ways of playing in the matches here.
Nice response from Kanamitsu, and we're tied 1-1. How would you characterize the biggest differences between the European style and the Asian style, speaking very generally, because obviously different intricacies with different players?
I think a lot of the kind of touch and timing of European players comes down to like personal feeling. You know, players might not develop the most technically precise shots. There's a little bit more flair in their shots. You know, some of them might swing more on the backhand than, you know, might be technically acceptable. So yeah, there's a little bit more personality in the game. Generally with the Asian nations, they're very focused on having a technical routine, so more technical precision and sometimes more technical consistency as well.
Right on cue. Off the net. 3-2 lead for Kanamitsu. Oh! Koyo in front, 4-2. Angling the backhand return to the side. Bastien Dupont, just 23 years old. Ooh, good forehand there from Kanamitsu. And for both these guys, last time they competed, it was their first ever MLTT opportunity. Both should be a little bit more comfortable. Round 2.
Great ankle play there from Dupont.
When Bastien Dupont came to Daytona Beach in September, that was his first time ever in the United States.
Not bad to come away with a singles win first.
He played singles once, went 2-1. He also played doubles once and went 2-1, playing with Enzo. Koyo Kanamitsu had a rough entry into MLTT. He played a red-hot Daniele Pinto, and Daniele beat him 3-0.
I think that was quite a big surprise for a lot of the players in the league. Which is kind of what I alluded to a little bit earlier. So this is kind of, I would say, the road to redemption for Koyo to make his mark here. And
he did bounce back against Carolina and took 3 straight games from Jeremy Hazin. Hazin is here, inactive today. We'll see him tomorrow. Same can be said for Matthew de Santillan for Princeton.
I'm looking forward to that.
Matthew de Santillan, inactive today. We'll see him tomorrow and Sunday. He has kind of quietly become a fan favorite because of his style of play, his defensive style, but his ability to go on the offense too. Oh, like that. Speaking of offense from Koyo Kanamitsu, and we're tied 8-all here in game one, second singles match of the day. Oh my.
That's the technical precision I was talking about earlier. And you can see Koyo just dropping the ball half long. He wants that slightly slower, less powerful opening. Those over-the-table forehand counters are deadly.
Nine all. Obviously, these next 2 or 3 points will decide who wins game one. Do you feel like this match is going to be close the whole way, or do you think whoever wins game one gains a mental edge going forward?
I mean, there's always a little edge. This one's a little difficult to tell.
Kanamitsu with a forehand one more time.
I think it's more important for Koyo to kind of, I mean, team's down 3-0 already, so this match is really important for the team.
10-all. Second time in 4 games today, we reach golden point. About 1 in every 7 games so far in MLTT has been decided by one. So far today, it's 1 out of every 2. Oh, incredible! Bastion Dupont with a half-hearted apology, but he wins a marathon golden point to take game one for Carolina.
You could see both players were a little bit, just a little bit tentative about not taking too much risk, but you could see Dupont kind of built up into that point. And at the end of it, he was starting to take more swings. So, you know, a bit of risk, a bit of reward. Slight clip of the net cord on the way, but fortune favors the brave.
Yeah, perhaps not the same exaltation in the celebration as if he had won it with a clean winner. But hey, it counts the same, and Bastion Dupont delivers on golden point there. And that's twice now. The Carolina Gold Rush have been down a couple game points, and so Enzo is down 10-8, came from behind. Dupont down 10-9, comes from behind. Not how Matthias Habasson wanted to see this weekend begin for his Princeton team that kind of felt like they finally had their pieces in place to do some damage here.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I think we've seen in the first match, Jishan didn't really find his game or the way that he wanted to play. Koyo, I think there's still a lot left in the tank for him. We saw some glimpses of what he's really devastating at, but we also saw some unforced errors as well. So. And I think Dupont's really been very steady, and you know, the same. It's that kind of that Carolina fearlessness of these players, that they're not afraid to go for their shots when the pressure's really on.
Service error from Dupont.
Got rid of that ball quickly.
Clearly was the ball's fault. It's interesting that you mentioned kind of the team vibe as being a factor in Carolina emerging. And look, I think you're absolutely right. We saw it, especially in week one, the Florida Crocs kind of embrace that identity, that you know, competitive demeanor. They found something early, found a little success.
I mean,
Garius with the chomp, it kind of took a life of its own.
Yeah, it's just it feeds confidence into the players that no matter what stage of a game they're at, if they're winning or they're losing or it's close or maybe they're getting wiped out, they just keep on going. I think what we've really seen from Koyo is that when he set himself up in a position where he has to generate the forehand power by himself, that's where we've been seeing unforced errors. When he's being fed and he's making those quick counters over the table, he's being really efficient. But the softer ball where he needs to build up more of that power himself, I think his contact is not quite where he needs it to be at. But he's still holding himself in a better position this game. Certainly can't afford to fall too much further behind here, with the Revolution already trailing by four points overall.
When Carolina and Princeton first met in September, Carolina, I don't want to say they dominated because there were a lot of close games, but the final score of the team match was 17-4. Golden game was 21-19. Like all the goals, all the close games, for the most part, went Carolina's way. That was the match that Laurence beat Jinshin Wong 11-10, 11-10,
11-10.
11-10. We'll see those two square off again later. There's something about their styles brings the best out of each other. I don't know about the best, but the most entertaining table tennis, perhaps.
Maybe their coaches are having a little meeting before the match and figuring out how to put them up against each other.
Oh, great defense from Kanamitsu. Excellent short return initially, allowed Dupont to take control, but Kanamitsu turned it around. And there's to what you were saying. That was a hittable ball without much pace, and Kanamitsu errs. Dupont takes both points on his serve to keep contact, keep the pressure on here as the serve goes back to Koyo.
He's done such a good job this game of targeting that middle area, and we've seen Koyo kind of squeezed into playing backhand in that elbow region. Really uncomfortable, really passive. So Dupont's getting great placement here.
Oh, beautiful shot from Bastien Dupont. Caught the corner.
Here comes the gold rush. This is where Koyo's really got to knuckle down.
Princeton takes the timeout. Revolution will not be able to take any more timeouts until the golden game. But Matthias Habasson sensing this perhaps slipping away again. A 9-5 lead moments ago for Koyo Kanamitsu.
A chance now for Koyo Kanamitsu. Remember, Princeton Revolution is in 4th place this season.
It's a very difficult spot for Koyo to be in. Certainly has all of the pieces of the puzzle, but right now, a lot of points just not quite putting them together.
We're looking at crossover in Rockville, South Carolina, December 1st.
There again is that placement from Dupont, getting it into the elbow.
Angle and placement on that last cross-court winner. Inside-out forehand to get within one.
And
well
Koyo
done.
Gets it in. Much better earlier in the bounce for Koyo.
Dupont have yet another comeback in him? Nope. Service error gives game 2 to Koyo Kanamitsu. And it's the first point of the day for the Princeton Revolution. 11-8. And we've got an intriguing rubber game coming up between these two battlers.
Definitely a disappointing way for Dupont to lose out in that game. But a sigh of relief probably from Koyo. I think definitely, I mean, towards that second game, we saw Dupont just really getting into the elbow of Koyo. A lot of awkward kind of backhand squeezed out of position. And Koyo also playing a lot across the middle as well. So, yeah, again, we just saw a lot of backhands across the middle, but he really opened up towards the end. So amazing backhand in that point.
Alrighty, game 3. Dupont serves to get it started.
Taking a little bit more initiative on the serve receive there.
Dupont kind of looked back at his bench as if to say, that wasn't what I meant to do, but it worked. You take something else from that smirk? Oh, Kanamitsu. Boom.
That's one way of putting the smirk to rest. Couple of loose short balls here from Kanamitsu that Dupont hasn't been able to put away. Got to take every opportunity in these, especially in these deciding games.
That has been the shot for Koyo Kanamitsu.
Yeah, these are the best plays for him. When he plays the ball earlier in the bounce, while the ball's still accelerating more, he's able to use that pace, both backhand and forehand side. I would say the majority of standout points that he's won have been from those early counters.
You can compete against Matt Hetherington, Sean O'Neill, and many others by joining the MLTT Fantasy League.
Honestly, even if you're joining it late this weekend, you can probably still get ahead of Sean.
Well,
so get in. Be sure to get in. It's never too late. It's been great fun, honestly.
Sean was not pleased with his performance from his selections in the West Division weekend in Houston, Texas. Dupont trying to hang around here.
For Dupont, it's been about that early placement that can either put Koyo a little bit off balance or off comfort, and a little bit back from the table as well. Basically, the more over the table or earlier in the bounce that Koyo is playing, the more trouble Dupont's in. So he's got to get a bit more depth, try and push him back. Right now, it's a little bit one-way traffic for Kanamitsu.
Pretty good response, though, from the Japanese player after losing the 10-9 lead in game 1. They can close this third game out, take 2 out of 3. This would make Kanamitsu 5-4 in singles in MLTT after going 3-3 last month. Really, he started 0-3, so been one heck of a response, and he's got a slew of game points here. That'll do it with authority. 11-4 to close out Bastion Dupont, and 2 points for Princeton, 2 much-needed points for the Revolution.
Yeah, you know what I was gonna say. Yeah, here we got table tennis players walking around this stadium. Tell me your name, sir. Tom, you're a table tennis player, yeah? Yeah. How did you get into table tennis? We had a little in tennis shop.
Koyo Kanamitsu joins us now. Koyo, congrats. Intense match. What did you view as the keys to rallying back for a 2-1 win?
Because first set I was cold on my hand. When I serve was every time it's not fixed. And then because first set 10-10 I get one net ball, then after I think okay now I should play like for every point.
And you tended to win more points when you were playing earlier in the bounce. So when the ball was still rising, you can play a little bit more counter.
Yeah.
Do you feel more comfortable playing that style?
Yeah, because when I have lead, then I can play this style. If it's so close point, then I should take care. Yeah.
Koyo, I have a question a little bit out of left field, but Adam Bobrow forwarded me an Instagram story from Jinshin Wong that was apparently you rapping in the hotel bathroom?
Yeah, rapping here, then I say, okay, maybe later after the match. Yeah.
Is that something you do to get ready to compete?
Yeah, not yet. Yeah.
What are your go-to raps these days?
It's actually Chinese rap. Yeah.
All right.
For fun.
Maybe you can give Matt a lesson later today.
Yeah.
Congrats on taking 2 out of 3, Koyo. Well done. So we've seen a 3-0 sweep. We have seen Kanamitsu rally back, and now we transition to doubles. And this dynamic duo of Enzo Angles and Hong Lin, they have been tough to beat so far in East Division play.
Yeah, I think it's a really good style combination. Obviously, Hong, pen hold, short pips on the forehand, really good at driving through the ball. And then you have Enzo as well. But I mean, Hong's just so reliable. Having somebody who's so steady but also has such a deadly forehand attack is such a great asset to have on your team.
And a new doubles team, Yevgen Prishepa, who's been excellent in singles, plays doubles for the first time, along with the defensive-minded Angela Guan.
Angela is another player that's super steady. I've commentated so many matches for Angela that have gone on for so long because she has so much grit and so much patience. So for me, this is going to be really interesting to see how Revolution's third attempt at putting together a winning doubles combination looks.
Guan serves. Well, good fortune there for the Revolution. Take the initial point.
Prishepa wasting no time here, getting a great shot down the line.
So Prishepa has been very good in singles. Overall, 2 weekends, he's 10-5 in singles. How do his skills and his attributes translate to doubles, particularly in a pairing with Angela Guan, do you think?
It's difficult to say. I mean, obviously, the technical aspect and the skill-based aspect is there. Doubles is a lot about how a team kind of gels together, and it's very tactical. So it's a great combination from them there. Yeah, so it's kind of about how you provide for your partner. You're always thinking about the next ball for your partner. So having a singles mindset where you're thinking about the next ball for yourself sometimes doesn't help. So a lot of singles players sometimes are not so strong at doubles. Some doubles players are not so strong at singles. So it's quite different.
4-4 through the first 8 points. Evan Lepler delighted to be working with Matt Hetherington, doubles national champ in New Zealand.
I'm one of those doubles players who's not great at singles.
Good winner for there from Enzo Angles. Do you enjoy watching doubles more because of the different tactics?
I feel like the majority of people don't, but I do. I like seeing how pairs kind of, how the cogs work and like how they problem solve and how they strategize together. And for me, Enzo and Hong, they communicate so well together.
Oh, with power. And all of a sudden, 4 straight points for Carolina to create some separation.
So yeah, I mean, it's all about synergy. And I mean, even if you look at how Enzo and Hong move around each other, it's very smooth. But they also have the benefit that they've played, you know, they've found a decent combination and they've stuck with it. So more reps for them.
This is the 6th time in 17 matches that they've played together. That did catch the edge on the side there. Fortunate break for Przeppa. Check it out right there. Princeton within 2. Enzo played doubles once with Bastion Dupont, but every other team match has been with Hong Lin. Hong has gone 11-4 in her 5 doubles matches overall, all with Enzo. Enzo is just a point producer for the Gold Rush, day in, day out. It's really staggering how consistent he's been, even to take his own words, when he's not playing well, when he's playing that bad.
I feel like he gives that feedback a lot. Well, off to a good start here. The Gold Rush pairing.
Last match, overwhelming Guan sets up game points. It's a let. Ooh, that'll do it for game 1. Misplayed by Przeppa, and an 11-7 win for Angles and Lin in game 1 against Przeppa and Guan.
Yeah, so strategically, there's a little bit of work to do here for the Princeton Revolution pairing. There was one point in there with Angela returning serve where instead of chopping, she kind of pushed the ball deeper. With a long pimples player and a defender, you can do a kind of a swipe on the serve return. I think she should be doing that a little bit more. You know, the traditional chopping style is difficult in doubles because what you'll find is as Angela backs away from the table, then Przeppa will also find himself drifting back a little bit. So it's really tough to get the footwork connected right and to get that synergy when you're playing one defender and one attacker. That being said, I think a pretty reasonable start for them. I think a few little changes, maybe a little bit more aggression from Angela if she can. You know, if the serve's drifting out a little bit, why not get in there and play topspin?
We catch him off guard. Yeah, that's not going to cut it against Enzo Angles.
Yeah, I think it's just they have a little bit too much time, and It's going to be difficult for Przeppa if he's on the back foot that much. So there's that swipe shot that I was talking about. I think for her much more, at least puts them a little bit more on the back foot. It was a nice recovery from Angela Guan, but not enough for the team to win that point.
It's interesting with the way the schedule works out in Myrtle Beach. When Carolina and Princeton played, it was on the third and final day of competition. And remember, that was a Golden game that went down to the wire. Carolina won 21-19. Hong Lin got bragging rights against her husband, and then they had to drive back home. And Jishan,
that would have been a fun drive.
Jishan was not all that interested, I don't think, in hearing about it from his wife. They get the head-to-head spouse competition out of the way here on day one.
Who knows? Maybe
Chicago weekend.
Maybe he went to the coaching team at Revolution and said, "Please don't put me in the doubles."
I didn't ask either Jishan or Matthias that, but I think it's a possibility. We'll see what the lineup is tomorrow, and obviously, it depends on how Yevgen and Angela do. Well, we've seen the two choppers play together. I did think Jishan playing with Angela was a different dynamic.
So they do still hold a lead here. Angela's got to put some pressure on that serve return.
That's not it. Well done from Anglaise, ties it at 5. Three straight for the Gold Rush. That forehand is working here in this doubles match.
Yeah, you don't want to give him too much time. When he has time to really move himself in position and set his weight, he can get a lot of power on that forehand. Przeppa's been playing some really good backhand flicks against the serve. Great acceleration.
That was
Looks
very
like that
close.
One just grazed the back edge of the table. Hong Lin acknowledging that
the umpires weren't sure. Ivana Kejnovic taking her time, signaling who was going to win that point until Hong Lin acknowledged that it did catch. And an 8-7 lead for Przeppa and Guan after the backhand winner from the Ukrainian.
Looks like Young Shigang, coach of the Carolina Gold Rush, is going to call a timeout here.
The timeout party here following the trend after a ripping backhand from Yevgen Przeppa. It's quite interesting to watch. The question came up. Lester, can you repeat your question? Do you know what the hand signals they're doing now? It's a great question.
I mean, at this point, not a bad timeout call. So I feel that the Gold Rush have an opportunity here to kind of pull away before the Golden Game even goes down, knowing that they've had two 21-19 Golden Games already.
Yeah, something about these two teams have brought out the best in each other in the Golden Game. Man, I am excited for you to experience your first Golden Game in person. And in about an hour.
You're going to have to stop me from running down onto the court at the end of it. Another big wind-up.
Ties the game 8-all. I mean, you just need to be aware of the electronics that you're connected to. I don't want you to trip and fall or get tangled. But if you want to pull an Adi Serene and run a lap around the gym, too straight for Carolina out of the timeout. Were you watching that when Adi Serene beat Collet on the ultimate Golden Point?
Yep.
Incredible.
It's going to be hard to top in terms of team celebrations, but I'm sure some of these teams will try.
Best point of the match, and Lynn and her partner Angles fired up. Coming from behind again here in game 2. Princeton back within 1. Miss-hit return from Angles. Good serve. Guan serving again. That's game. Angles and Lin take the 2-0 lead with a strong closing forehand from Enzo Angles.
Great timeout for the Carolina Gold Rush pairing there. And a good comeback from them.
I think, look, we're seeing Przeppa and Guan be competitive, but I think you're also seeing the chemistry that Angles and Lin have built playing together. For now, this is their 6th match together. And look, they're now 13-5, or 12-5, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, the more you play together, you just get an idea of what angles or what spin variations set your partner up well. And the fact that Hong's out there hitting such great forehand drives and that Enzo's able to position himself and finish off points with his forehand, and we don't really see too much stress on their footwork or their positioning. It shows you that they know exactly what they're doing from the start of a point. And honestly, I think Guan and Przeppa, they kind of found their stride a little bit more in that second game. They found that range of what distance from the table is comfortable to play for them. And honestly, I thought Przeppa handled things quite well from that mid-distance. Great defense there from Angela Guan. But looks like
that caught.
Well, the universe responds. It was almost in exactly the same place as...
Right. Again, the umpire was in the dark, and so are we. We're right here. I couldn't tell. It's a 4-1 lead now here in game 3 for Angles and Lin. Enzo trying to make it 3 points in singles and 3 points in doubles to start this weekend. Confusion about who's serving or the order. Big point for Przeppa there. Order's going to switch when the players switch sides.
There was that kind of backhand swipe shot from Angela again.
Switch sides at 5-3. I got some numbers for you from the first 4 MLTT weekends. Now, there were 120 singles and doubles matches, not including golden games. It's 360 games, about 120 matches. About 55% of the matches, the same player won the first 2 games. In terms of how often a player completed the sweep after winning the first 2, it was a little bit better than 60% of the time. However, there's an interesting wrinkle in that. There's a significant disparity in Game 3 success after a 2-0 lead from the East Division compared to the West Division. East Division players are exactly 500 through the first couple months in Game 3s after winning the first 2, which is to say that the player that goes down 0-2 wins Game 3 half the time in the East. In the West, the player that's gone up 2-0 has won Game 3 almost 75% of the time. So I don't know if you followed all that. It's a lot of math.
Let that be a warning to West Coast players. Don't go down 2-0.
That's one takeaway.
I mean, that's a fair warning for anyone, really, in this league.
Any other thoughts on the disparity? It's early. It's relatively small sample size, but seems to be statistically significant.
Yeah, I think in these 3-game formats, it's psychologically tougher. You know, you don't have as much time to come back, and once you're down 2-0, you're in a position where you're kind of fighting to try and clutch that 1 point for your team. So tying things back up here. Princeton Revolution not quite done here yet.
I mean, obviously, there's a big difference here between 7-2 and 6-3 as we head back into the singles matches. Jong and Yevgen Prushepa up next. These moments, you just rely on trusting your partner so much. Angles and Lin have built up that trust, but a pretty good return and an error from Angles. Tied 8-all now.
And Enzo over the table.
Taking out some frustration on the ball there with a good topspin loop winner. Did that catch? No. 9-all. Back to the towels one last time. Prushepa and Guan trying to avoid the sweep. Enzo calls the play, has the serve.
It's a good setup there. Playing a little bit softer on that ball.
Game points for Prushepa and Guan. Ten all here in this third game in doubles.
And that's really like one of the big benefits of having a left and right-handed player. You could see in that last point, that forehand hitting area across the middle of the table. Catching opposite directions. And again, this communication is so important in doubles.
Prushepa has the serve, golden point. Return was long, and Prushepa and Guan able to salvage a point for the Revolution. And also fulfills the statistical expectation. Now, twice in this match, a player has gone up 2-0 and They're 1-1 in terms of finishing off the sweep. The past does not always predict the future, Matt, but in this example so far, certainly some credence to the numbers. Still 2 points for Enzo Angles and Hong Lin. And Hong joins us now. Hong, congrats on taking 2 out of 3. Was there any sense of relief to not be competing against your husband today?
Yeah, we are good.
What was the key with you and Enzo getting that victory? What were the biggest factors for you and Enzo to get the win?
Yeah, I think just relax and confident and go forward. Yeah.
So obviously I've been watching from home, but now I'm here, so it's good to see you guys playing in person. I think you and Enzo now are one of the stronger doubles pairs on the East Coast. So how do you feel next month when you play against the West Coast teams? Do you think you have a good chance to win some good doubles matches?
Yeah, I think next month just a difficult month. Yeah, for us. So we need more practice, and in match we more confidence and more some like coverage. Yeah.
Good stuff. Hong, 2 out of 3. Ain't bad at all. Congratulations. We'll see you in the Golden Game in a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hong Lin and Enzo Angles lose on Golden Point in Game 3, and they do not sweep. And Yevgen Prishepa stays on the table and plays singles. First meeting in MLTT between Yevgen Prishepa and Kai Jong. And, man, both these guys have plenty of firepower.
Yeah, they do. Kai is a player that I've seen just sometimes go crazy on his backhand. But he's a player that's equally powerful off both sides, and that's really rare to see. So if he's in his zone, he's a very, very dangerous player to come up against.
Prishepa went 7-2 in singles in Myrtle Beach. He was locked in.
Yeah, we saw some great, I think, backhand flips to get into the rally from Prishepa. Good placement with the backhand. Lots of mix and variations, mix and timing. So we'll see if he can disrupt the rhythm of Kai Jong.
Prishepa, a more experienced player in his late 30s compared to Kai Jong in his mid-20s. Not to say that Kai lacks experience at all.
Yeah, Kai has a really great story, and a lot of the players here that have come from China quite many years ago now to the US, like Liang Qishan, Wang Jinshen as well, who are in these major league teams. They've just really just stuck to it. They've kept competing. They've played so many tournaments here in the US. And I think it's such a testament to players like him. You know, it's really easy for them to come here and win one championship title and then start coaching, which happens in a lot of countries. But you can really tell that they want to be the best. They love the game. And yeah, Kai has such a rich background in the game, especially here on the East Coast.
Man, when Kai moved to New York at 15 years old, he couldn't speak a word of English. But he became fluent in less than 3 years, stuck around for high school and college, and has made a very successful life on and off the table. That's a successful shot from Yevgen Prishepa. I know you were not all that familiar with Prishepa before MLTT, but he has come on strong. Certainly has shown that he belongs in the upper echelons of the conversations of top players in the league.
Yeah, not too much. I'd seen maybe some Star Series in the Czech Republic and a couple of matches there, but
Didn't you say you had a good win recently against the top Chinese player?
That was Daniele Pinto.
Okay, that was Daniele.
We'll get to that.
We'll see that later.
Yeah.
Another
yeah,
guy
so
who's been playing well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I mean, seeing Przeppa here is really great. I've really enjoyed seeing the mix of international players, and one of the things that I really never expected for this first season of Major League was that we would get so many players from overseas. So for me, that has been, it's added so much character to this league, and really stepped up the professionalism as well.
Przeppa grew up in Kyiv, about a 1-minute walk from his home to a table tennis school where he honed his craft. Now he lives in France. Like so many Ukrainians, life is flipped upside down in the past couple of years. Looking for Przeppa. Strong performance here in game one. Game points. 11-5. That was really well done from the Ukrainian.
Very much in control there. Great job on the serve receive, taking the early initiative as well. I think he kept his foot on the gas enough. The thing I like about his game is that he has such great balance. You know, he has a strong offensive game, but it's kind of tempered as well, where he maintains such a high level of control. So tends to look for strong placement and angles and focus a little bit more on the spin acceleration than direct power. So worked very well for him there in that first game. You see that backhand flip against the serve, I think, was a big factor in this for him.
What do you want to see from Kai Jong in game number 2 here?
Look, if Przeppa's going to backhand flip and serve long, I would love to see Kai really step up his attacking game. He's got to pick those long balls and go for them. And he's got to attack against the backhand flip receive. So it's really about just pushing the confidence levels up, feeling the confidence in his shots. And I think once he starts, he'll build the momentum that he needs to find. And he really is. It's honestly, sometimes watching Kai is like, it's like a snowball. You just gradually see the momentum build up, and by the end of a match, he's just swinging crazy shots on both sides.
Strong start to game 2. Kai Jong, who went 5-1 in singles in Daytona Beach, finished 3-3 in Myrtle. Next time just the East Division teams get together, Matt, will be in 2024 down in Florida, but we got the much anticipated interdivisional weekend. That's just around the corner. Of course, the West Division teams will reunite next week in Alameda, California, the East Bay. And then 2 weeks after that, Thanksgiving in between. We'll all be in Rock Hill for what should be a fascinating experience as Przeppa gets on the board here in game 2. As you have watched from afar, what have been your primary takeaways East versus West? It's tough to tell.
I genuinely feel like the European influence has been stronger on the East Coast. If we look at the top players on the East, it's been Daniel Gorak, Enzo Angles. Whereas on the West, you're looking at players like Kole, Tao Wenjang. It's going to be really interesting to see those players clash with each other. But also how players like Zhang Kai and Jishan play off against top players that they're maybe a little bit more familiar with, like Tao and Xia Jiwei and players like that.
Jong closing in on a 1-1 draw here through the opening 2 games, and an interesting rubber game coming up.
Yeah, and you can start to see him really swinging into it more and taking that initiative a lot earlier in the point than before. There's the contrast for you of what you don't want to see from him. It's playing a little bit more kind of soft block or soft touch. He's got to be decisive.
Pappa dominates game 1, 11-5, and Jong has completely flipped it around here in game 2. Pappa is taking a big swing, why not? Worked out that time. Can he do it 5 more times? That caught the edge, and Jong answers the 11-5 loss with the 11-5 win to set up an intriguing rubber game ahead.
Flipping the scoreboard on this one. Literally, it was 11-5 in the first game the other way. Maybe this side is only.
I would say there's a little bit more pressure on Pappa right now. As I said, Jong is a player that works really well with momentum, and we definitely saw him step things up a lot in game 2. So Pappa again getting in with those backhand flips like he was there. I think now he needs to be a little bit more careful about placement and about speed. You could see that Kai was a lot more comfortable with them, and he was taking them as attacking opportunities rather than being passive. So definitely a lot more pressure on Pappa on the serve receive.
Oh, I thought you were her mom. I misunderstood. Her personal coach.
Who do you lean towards here in game 3, Matt, if you're making a pick?
After seeing games 1 and 2, I would personally have to lean towards Kai.
Why?
He's starting to swing, and when he starts to swing, it's trouble. It's really trouble.
Overcooks that forehand just a tad. Give Pappa the 1-0 lead. Kai is able to take this and make it 2 out of 3. It would also clinch a lead for Carolina heading into the Golden game. Need 8 points to have a lead going into the Golden. And of course, you can gain as large as a 5-point head start in the Golden game based upon how you fare through the first 5 matches, 4 singles, 1 doubles. Good forehand winner there from Pappa. They're tied 2-2 here in game 3.
Good setup there from the backhand serve. Got a loose forehand receive. Yeah, these are the kind of points that I'm talking about. Pappa's got to do even more with his serve return. So more rotation. It's got to have really good depth, a little bit more speed.
Here's the interesting thing about Princeton's season so far overall. And they've got the fewest total points of any of the 8 teams in the league. But their singles players have held their own. I mean, coming into this weekend, their singles players have 36 wins and 36 losses. They were dead even.
That tells you
But
a lot
doubles,
about their
doubles they've struggled,
doubles and golden game.
and golden game they've really struggled. Only won one of their 6 golden games so far, fewest in the league.
You know what? I will tell you one thing. If you look at them in their singles matches, sometimes they're a little bit slow off the starting block. And maybe that's a big factor. And when you're playing golden game and you're only in for 4 points, you're off the bench cold and playing for 4 points. Maybe that's a factor for them.
5-4 lead for Pryshchepa here in game 3 as the players switch sides. And Sean O'Neill has talked about how he's wanted to see coaches practice golden game situations more frequently, sending players onto the table 4 points at a time, then sitting back down. Because it amplifies the intensity significantly when you don't have a chance to get into a rhythm, to get comfortable up at the table, to get your warm-ups in.
Yeah, I think there are definitely ways that they can practice those pressure situations. Pryshchepa right now seems to be handling pressure quite well.
Yes, he is. That's frankly not abnormal for Yevgen Pryshchepa. But Kai Jong still capable of the big swing. That's a 7-5 here on Jong's serve. He's still leaning Jong. It's close.
Yes.
Toss up.
I still am. If it had got to the point where I felt like he was playing more passively, maybe I'd change my mind. But I think he's still going for his shots.
Until we have a sports book with live odds, I'm relying on you to let me know when the odds flip.
Uh-oh.
Maybe they just did. Certainly, if Yevgen can win both these points on his serve, he will be in a good position. But he's not going to do that because of a good deep return from Jong. Caught Pryshchepa off guard, and it's 8-7.
Wow. Yeah, nice little feint there from Kai. Sometimes it's the simple things that get you where you need to be.
8-all, game 3. Missed it. Pryshchepa back in front. I'd say huge serve for Kai because he doesn't want to give the serve back to Pryshchepa on game point, but he just did win 2 points on Pryshchepa's serve, so who knows? Game points for the 38-year-old Ukrainian. Can Yevgen Pryshchepa close it out right here? What happened? Is that a let? Apparently it was. And he'll close it out 11-8. 2 out of 3 for Yevgen Pryshchepa over Kai Jong. That was a fun match.
Great to see two quite different styles going up against each other there, and I think my favorite part of how that match went was seeing how Pryshchepa adapted. Kai was so strong in the second game, so seeing Pryshchepa make some adjustments there.
So Yevgen Pryshchepa, look, he's had a long time on the table. Playing doubles and then singles back-to-back, 6 straight games. But he earns 3
now,
points
now
for
he's
his
got
team.
the tough part, which is the post-match interview.
This is the fun part. And he's got the headset on. Yevgen, after a long doubles match and a hard-fought singles match, you get to the fun part of the day, which is the chat with us. Thanks for joining us. That was a fun match between you and Kai. Your first time playing against Kai in Major League Table Tennis. What was that match like for you, the twists and turns of it?
Actually, I didn't feel at all my game. So sometimes I play good, sometimes I couldn't serve. And I have same feeling that he was in the same situation. Sometimes amazing, crazy bomba shooting, sometimes miss easy balls. So I don't know what to say.
I mean, at the start of Game 3, you had won 11-5 and lost 11-5. What was the mindset regrouping for the third game?
Just I start to play a little bit safer because I start too aggressively with fast killing serves, and I was successful. Second set, I miss everything so I just change. I have a lot of services, so I try another one, more safe, more stable.
And also, I think on the receive, in the second game, you were using the backhand flip receive a lot. In the second game, he tended to be quite aggressive against that ball. So what kind of changes did you make with that going into the third game?
It was all depending from my service. If the big difference between points like 8-3, 4-2, he has no pressure, so he can go full power, and that's it.
Yevgen, we're getting ready to watch Jinshin Wong and Roman Laurence, and they've had some unbelievable matches. I don't know if you remember, but 4 of their last 6 games have been 11-10,
yes,
one way or another. What's the key for Jinshin, your teammate here, as he gets ready to play?
I don't know, but I think the main thing in these games is the fighting spirit. Who fight more actually wins.
Well said. Thanks for joining us, Yevgen. We'll let you relax and see you in the Golden Game coming up.
I like that comment about whoever has the best fighting spirit wins. I think it's...
Well, especially with these two, because it so often comes down to just 1 or 2 points. They've played 2 matches, 6 total games, and 5 of those 6 games have been either 11-10 or 11-9. Roman Laurence has gotten the better of Jinshin Wong in 4 of the 6 games they have played, but they have been very close competitors.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a steady player. Looks for a lot of forehand opportunities. Again, not necessarily blasting the ball, but playing with a lot of topspin. I think there are some mirrors and similarities between these two players in the way that they play. They have that kind of balanced spin control game, so which is great for spectators. You know, we get a lot of open rallies and some nice forehand counter topspins. So hopefully we'll see a lot of that. And yeah, as I said right in the very beginning, I'm interested to see who comes out on top in this third matchup from 3 with these two guys.
Jinshin Wong showing off the newfound dad strength on the opening 2 points. Jinshin became a father for the first time on October 23rd with his new son, Max.
Well, I'm sure his wife Wenting might be at home watching, so if you are Wenting, congratulations to you as well.
Ask Jinshin how's it going so far, and he said, good, I'm tired. I understand that. But the dad strength, 4-0 lead for Jinshin Wong.
That latent adrenaline.
Roman Laurence on the board. Laurence is an even 9-9 MLTT singles. That includes 4-2 against Jinshin Wong, who really bounced back nicely in Myrtle Beach. He had a tough go of it in singles, in part because of all the close losses that he suffered. Just didn't quite play the big points well that first MLTT weekend. Pretty good response here from Roman Laurence. 3 in a row after falling behind 4-zip.
kind of a newcomer to the US table tennis scene, relatively speaking. So we've seen a lot more of him on the East Coast, and especially in the last year and the Westchester tournaments out there. And he's quite a regular in the finals there, so certainly making a name for himself out here on the East Coast.
Laurence has battled back to tie at 5-all. Roman has been in the top 100 in the world, got up to number 99. .30-year-old Frenchman. Wong, of course, past US Open men's singles champ.
Yes, Roman looking for those forehand opportunities always. Gets great rotation on that first ball. You can see how much that kicked off Qinshen's racket.
Yeah, he's said, Roman, that he's an attacker, wants to use the forehand as much as possible.
Yeah, and you actually notice his grip's a little bit different to the other players here. He kind of has almost a second finger on the paddle, so his finger's a little bit further up, so that allows him to put, I guess, a bit more pressure on the back of his paddle when he's playing forehand. Good serve variations there from Laurence. Short reverse to the forehand. It's a great serve variation to have for same-handed players.
Here in game one, the fourth and final singles match before the Golden Game. And the lead heading into the Golden Game, very much hanging in the balance at 7-5 overall on the team tally.
Why do I feel like this is going to go to universal point again?
Because it likely is. And you are an expert, a table tennis soothsayer, some say.
My fantasy league results would argue with that currently.
Laurence, after trailing 4-0, has the first game point. Laurence coming from behind, takes it 11-9.
Super job there from Laurence. You can see those reverse serves short to the forehand. Wang Jinshin really struggling to make good quality forehand flips with them. Found himself in the net quite a lot. And right at the end there, opting to step all the way across and pick the ball up with his backhand. So definitely great success there from the service game of Laurence. Some good points here. Very, very tactical match going on. And again, both players obviously have played each other before. They're trying to figure out different tactics. Anything that can give them the slightest edge to get ahead here.
Man, I may be going into the archives of your past a little bit, but doing the type of digging that a thorough play-by-play announcer does.
You do a background search on me?
More or less. The authorities will be here any minute.
I don't know.
You've written eloquently about the dynamic one feels after they have lost many times to the same opponent. Especially it's someone that you feel like you're on relatively equal footing to.
I have.
And Jinshin Wong might be feeling some of those same pangs of emotion right now because, look, while he did take 2 out of 3 from Romain Laurence last time they played, that's another close game that he had a lead against Romain and wasn't able to get over the finish line. That caught the edge. Wow.
Yeah, it's difficult when you come up against somebody many times. They start to get used to things. It really depends on your game style. Sometimes you have things that did that touch the top edge. That did touch the top edge. Got a nice clean around the net shot. Somebody in the crowds shouted out replay, and we have one. Great round the net from Wong Jinshin. I'm sure whatever happens with the match now, he's at least put his name in the basket for a top 10 on the highlight reel for this weekend.
Five out of 6 for Jinshin Wong. He had a similar lead in game 1, did not get him the point. That game 1 win for Romain Laurence does clinch a lead heading into the Golden Game for Carolina. Once again, the Gold Rush have Enzo Anglais to thank. Enzo earned 5 out of a possible 6 points playing singles and doubles.
Jinshin just really reliable on his backhand opening. It's not the fastest ball out here in the competition, but it's got a lot of topspin rotation, hard to control.
What has happened to Laurence here in game 2 from your seat?
I think the difficulty is if you're trying to play forehand full table, if you have an opponent that's staying in control as well as Jinshin is, then it's difficult, you know, to keep repositioning yourself and to cover the whole table. And I think Romain's difficulty is that he doesn't necessarily have the power game to hit through Jinshin, and so, you know, sometimes you hit 3, 4, 5 forehands and you haven't really found an opening to get through and win the point.
2 straight for Laurence after being down 9-1. At what point does Wong start feeling the nerves here? 9-6.
I'm sure he would have felt them from the beginning of the match.
Yeah, but you're up 9-1. You feel like you've got the game in command. If Romain makes 9-3, he's probably not feeling the nerves. But
yeah, I think probably towards 6 or 7. Depends who's serving as well.
That's fair. (10-4). Jinshin Wong on his serve. Tries to close out game 2. Romain Laurence says not so fast.
More of that would put him in a much better position. Great counter. Great forehand into the open table.
That's it for game 2. And Jinshin Wong sets up another interesting rubber game against Roman Laurence. The biggest surprise so far is that neither game went to golden point, because for these two, that's what we've come to expect.
Yeah, this was probably the most dominant, or one of the most dominant displays in this second game. Great round the net shot there. Good to see that replay getting in here. Roman trying some different things here. He had a really good success in the first game, keeping that reverse short to the forehand, getting in with the first heavy rotation on the forehand. I think Jinshin managed to find Roman's backhand a little bit more. I think that was quite a big factor, but also just remaining so steady.
I'm going to put you on the spot again. Who are you leading towards here in game 3?
I think just on stability, I would have to go with Jinshin. I think that second game was so decisive compared to almost any other game that they've played against each other so far since the league began. He's just looking so calm out there.
How about that start? 2 winners.
Maybe being a new dad is helping him. Maybe this is easy for him. It's like a vacation.
Dad strength is real, and a hotel room without the screaming baby waking you up. Not that we want to talk about that to the wife or the mom, but it's real.
Roman getting vocal, something that we really see among the, much more among the Carolina Gold Rush team, I think, is that vocal confidence build. And
these players have treated this match like we're playing in a library compared to watching Nikhil Kumar and Bruno de los Anjos a couple weeks ago in Texas. How vocal of a player were you, Matt, in your heyday?
Silent.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely silent. One of those kind of quiet, scheming, calculating players.
A creepy silence.
I hope it wasn't creepy.
Look out in the front row. And we are closer to the action here in Chicago as broadcasters, really, than we have been with any other event so far. And I am anticipating a deflected ball coming our way at some point during the weekend. And I pray I don't fumble it.
Roman getting in with his forehand. You can see like a direct correlation between when they start to get vocal, when they start to give themselves a little bit more positivity, and the quality of their forehand or the quality of their attacking strokes.
Immediate attack from Jinshin Wong, but Roman Laurence handles it well. 4-all. These two guys continue to battle back and forth. And look, Roman has never beaten Jinshin by a lot. He beat him 11-10 3 times in a row in September. The one win he got against him of the 3 games in October was 11-9. He beat him 11-9 in game 1 here today. So we know Jinshin Wong is not going to go down easily. And it's probably going to be quite close.
Jinshin doing a good job of pushing Roman out wider off that corner. You'd see him step around on the first ball. Jinshin drives him further out off the table. It's hard if you don't have really good position out there. It's hard to generate power, but you're leaving so much table uncovered as well. It's a little juice on that backhand serve receive.
One game all, 6-all.
Just misses that down the line opportunity.
Six lead now for Jinshin Wong. I'll say one thing about this opening match here at the Wintrust Sports Complex. The crowd has gotten larger as the match has progressed. And I don't know about you, I felt like there's been a real focus on every single point of this match. Like, you can feel the intensity. You can just look around and see the fans really locked in and engaged on what they're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, most of these players from areas like this are not used to seeing table tennis at this level and in this league format. So,
great point. Laurence needed it, and he gets it. Back within one.
There's so much similarity. There's so much linking between these French players. You have Enzo and Bastian and Roman on the Carolina team, and they have that same grit and determination and vocal positivity. I guess there's something in the water over in the French league that they're bringing over, bringing over with them here. But Jinshin just still looking steady.
Oh, what a shot!
Whips the ball to finish it.
Jinshin Wong takes 2 out of 3 over Roman Laurence. Hopefully we see these guys play at every opportunity, because it is always thrilling stuff. 11-7 in that decisive game 3, and that gets it about as close as it can be heading into the Golden Game. 8-7, Carolina has the 1-point lead. And the two head coaches will come together here momentarily to meet with the commissioner of MLTT, Flint Lane, to determine the order of the Golden Game.
So many great points in this match, and Jinshin, again, just really stable. I think stability was the key for him in this match and helped him come through in the end there. Some fantastic angles to get the job done.
Alex Yang, Matthias Habasson converge. Let's send it to the commission.
Game. Carolina is up 8-7. We'll start with a 1-point lead. Who will you be playing first, Coach? Jinshin Wong will be playing first. Coach? Romain Laurence is your first. Who's your number 2? Enzo Angles, your number 2. Jixiang Liang is your number 2. Who's your third? Yevgen Prushepa is your third. Bastian Dupont is your third. Your fourth.
A little bit of a change up there from
Kai Zhang is your fourth.
Alex Young.
Koyo Kanamitsu is your fourth, making Angela your fifth, and Honglin is your fifth. Good luck, coaches.
Interesting.
It's mostly sticking to the same order as the previous draw matchup. Just Przeppa coming up against Dupont. A bit of a switch around there from
those dots signal the timeouts. Nothing about Dupont and Przeppa that we're accentuating. Each team has one timeout in the golden game, and Carolina begins with a 1-0 lead. And look, if we do get to the ultimate golden point at 20 all, it will be the players in the number 1 slot, Jinshin Wong and
Roman
Laurence, who just played in the final singles match. So far, teams that have had a lead entering the golden game have won 2/3 of the time. They're 16-8. Last 2 times that Carolina and Princeton played golden games, the final score was 21-19 in the Gold Rush's favor. Matt Hetherington, enjoy your first ever golden game in person.
Thank you, I will. Oh.
The intensity ratchets up several notches very quickly.
That's a great way to send a message after that singles match.
Another message sent from Jinshin Wong. Hashtag dad strength.
It's just crazy to see the gears stepping up here. Roman on the attack. Fairly fitting there that they would take 2 points each in this opening 4 points of the golden game.
How about that serve from Jishan Leong?
He's had a lot of time out there on the bench to figure out how to change things.
Another deep serve, and it worked out for him.
And there's that big forehand that we didn't really see in his singles match. Coming out to play in the golden game.
Place on the board for Carolina here in the golden game. That's 3 out of 4 for Jishan Leong. And Princeton, after being down 1-0, has a 5-3 advantage.
This would be such a big opportunity for them to get a little bit of movement up the table.
And now Przeppa versus Dupont. These two played singles against each other in September. Przeppa took 2 out of 3 that day. I beg your pardon, Dupont took 2 out of 3 that day. Przeppa gets the first haymaker in here. Strong start in the golden game for the Princeton Revolution. Wong, Leong, and Przeppa have set the tone. Big alley from Bastien Dupont. Big point here. Three out of 4 for Przeppa. So Wong took 2 out of 3. Leong took 3 out of 4. And then Przeppa takes 3 out of 4. As Kanamitsu and Jong take the table. And the Princeton success continues.
The revolution out here, starting a revolution.
They know how important the Golden Game is if they want to make up some ground in the standings. And look, they've got a lot of ground to make up. Top 2 teams in the division make the postseason. They began the day. Good 24 points behind Carolina, who's in second place.
Jong claws back some ground here in the Golden Game. Now we see a bit of attack and defense. Honglin taking on Angela Guan.
Honglin has been phenomenal in Golden Games so far. She was 7-5 at Daytona. She went 14-4, dominating her counterparts in Myrtle. And another clutch start for Honglin, who has been such a key piece for the Gold Rush success. Three straight for Honglin.
Steady, steady, stable work from both players.
Wong and Laurence take the table after this point. Will it be tied? Ten all. Honglin continues to show off a masterful Golden Game ability.
Finally on that 4th point, Angela Guan taking an opportunity to attack. I think she's got to go for more attacking opportunities here, especially in these tight Golden Game points.
And for the first time since the score was 1-0, Carolina's back on top here in the Golden. I gotta say, Matt, you know, seeing every Golden Game that's been played in this league so far, this feels so important for Princeton. Like, Carolina's had a great season so far, and we're getting a timeout here from Matthias Habasson, and that amplifies the feeling of importance as well. You know, the Revolution have played really well. They've been one of the better teams in singles overall. They've struggled in doubles, but the Golden Game, they just haven't gotten over the hump, and that's why, really more than anything, they're in last place.
Yeah, I mean, again, maybe when, again, that kind of positivity that comes from the bench of Carolina, it just feeds them in situations like this. In a situation where every point is so crucial. I mean, look at how they're playing. It's so different from how they approach the singles matches. More aggressive, more confident, more decisive.
Laurence serving after the Princeton timeout, and he overcooks the forehand there. Wong back within 1. I love the gravity of every single point here at 12-11 in the Golden Game. And Wong able to battle back and split the quad. So it's 12 all as Honglin's husband, Jishan Leong, takes the table. And her doubles partner in MLTT, Enzo Anglaise, takes the table. 4 more points for these two. The final 4 points they'll play tonight. Jishan has had Enzo's number so far in the Golden Game. That's 4 out of 5 points for Jishan Leong. Oh, what a shot!
Just unreal forehand counter.
My goodness.
Doing that against an easy ball is difficult. Doing it against the ball that Enzo just played is out of this world crazy.
You did say that he has the best forehand in the league when things are clicking. Folks should see what you mean. You know what you're talking about. Oh, that's an excellent forehand response, though. And Angles able to split that quad. 14 all. Bastian Dupont and Yevgen Prishepa up next. 16 points on the line. His team match on the line. And Bastian Dupont takes a little Adi Serene-esque jog around the facility after re-giving his team the lead. One more serve for Prishepa. Tremendous defense from Bastian Dupont.
Great topspins back from the table by Dupont.
Missed it. 3 in a row for the Frenchman.
Dupont's been so good at opening up that half-long ball throughout his play here today.
This is the shifts in momentum. Prishepa took 3 out of 4 last time these two teams, or earlier in this Golden game. But it's a 4 straight sequence for Dupont from 14 all to 18-14 on the back of Bastian.
Gold rush showing no signs of slowing down here.
Big answer from Koyo Kanamitsu, snaps the extended run. There's 14-12. It had been 7 straight points there for Angles and Dupont. And the one for Jong, but now game point on Kai Jong's serve to win the night for Carolina. Kanamitsu fights it off, but this is a tough ask for Angela Guan. She has struggled head-to-head against Hong Lin, and she just needs to forget about the past and try to win a point right here. Hong Lin again could win it for her team. Did not catch, and Guan fights off one more match point. That might have been the longest rally we have ever seen in Major League Table Tennis. Guan fights off another match point, timeout, Carolina.
Does anything get your heart rate going more than being at this stage of the Golden Game and watching a point like that?
Do you think Hong Lin was too cautious here?
I think so. I mean, when you have I guess, a little breathing room, then you've got to go for your attacking shots. And her attacking shots are good. They're solid, but I think she's definitely pushing around a lot more. And you don't want to get pushing with the chopper, because if anybody's practiced pushing, it's a chopper. They've practiced it for thousands of hours.
It was a 34-shot rally. Hong Lin puts it away with a big forehand. Tremendous effort from Guan, but once again, Hong Lin reigns supreme for the Gold Rush and the Golden Game.
Congratulations, Carolina Gold Rush, and a valiant effort from Princeton Revolution, keeping quite close to a real turnaround. But the team in black and gold, Carolina.
You've got to say, Hong Lin in the 5th position in that Golden Game is such a strong contender in this league.
Tough loss for the Princeton Revolution.
Yeah, you got to feel for them. I mean, the second match that they played in week 3, having that 10-5 lead and losing in the Golden Game. And then here again, such a great start and a great opportunity. But the Carolina Gold Rush, big smile from Coach Yang here.
Yeah, Alex Yang put the headset on. Alex, congrats. Some nervy moments down the stretch there, but your team gets it done. What was your message to Hong Lin at 20-18 when you took the timeout?
I told her be more patient, not a hurry to finish the ball. And when you see the high ball, give medium power, more replacement to her middle. And if not, you just continue to be patient. You know, you're still like 20-18, don't nervous. If 20-20, we still have chance.
What is it about Hong Lin? It seems like Golden Game after Golden Game, she comes through for your team.
Because she is like one of the top female playing East side, so she has more confidence play against other females. So I think she trusts herself to can get her this time again.
So you've had now three occasions with this team. 21-19 was the first Golden Game, 21-19 the second. This time, actually, they got quite a good start, but you guys were able to come back. What do you think is the strength of your team when it comes to playing these Golden Games?
Because it's very important Golden Game against the female playing against a female. So after we down 6-10, I still have a lot of confidence after Dupont getting 4 points. I think the match will be done.
Yeah, Bastion really changed the flavor of that Golden Game. He came in, I think, at 14 all, and Enzo was down 14-12, so there was a sequence of 7 in a row between Enzo and Bastion and Kai, but Bastion did a lot of good work there for you.
Yes. I think he's playing better and better against after the first weekend. I think he getting a lot of training, a lot of matches, and has. I think he's the best right now.
That's 5 Golden Game wins and 7 games for your team. And any other kind of big picture goals stuff you'd like to see from your team this weekend?
I told the last weekend was we don't send all the best team. I said we try to win all 3 games because we never beat Florida Cross, so we try to win this time.
All right, well, you got to wait till Sunday to get your shot at the Crocs, but you got the hometown team, Chicago, tomorrow. Alex Yang, congrats on starting the weekend 1-0. You can't go 3-0 unless you go 1-0 to start, and you've done that. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you very much.
Alex Yang, victorious for the Carolina Gold Rush here, as we see some members of the Florida Crocs getting ready to warm up. But we're going to chat with Bastion Dupont. Bastion, congratulations, man. You take the table at 14 all. After Enzo had just gotten you 2 points back to tie it up. What was the mindset going against Yevgen, who had taken 3 out of 4 points against you previously?
After the 4 first point, I feel not so comfortable with this backhand service, but at the second rotation of the Golden Game, I just wanted to attack first and put pressure on himself.
I think for you, throughout the matches, the singles and the Golden Game, you had so much strength in your opening against the half-long ball. How important was it for you to be confident opening against those half-long opportunities?
Yeah, my game is quite aggressive with my forehand, so each ball who goes out a little bit of the table, I need to put many pressure because I don't feel so comfortable with backhand. So all the time I can play strong with my forehand. That's what I have to do.
Bastian, how does winning the Golden Game change your personal mindset about the whole evening? I mean, you got one win in your singles match, lost 2 games to a good player in Koyo, but you get the win for the team and you contribute. Does performing well in the Golden Game kind of change your feeling about the whole evening?
Sure, it gives me so much confidence for the next matches, so it's very good, and I'm really happy that the team could win tonight.
Well done. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bastian Dupont, with some big points for his team as they get it done in the Golden Game. And our updated East Division standings for the moment, Carolina back atop the table, but the Florida Crocs are getting warmed up. And look, if they can beat Chicago later tonight, there's a pretty good race brewing here. And right now the separation continues to grow between the top 2 and the bottom 2 in the East Division. As we wrap up our first show and get ready for the Florida-Chicago match, Matt, your final thoughts on your first MLTT in-person experience and what we saw in the Golden Game from Carolina.
Loved it. It's, what you see at home is great, but being here in person is it's definitely different. So I encourage everybody, if you have an MLTT match in your area, get your tickets, get down here, come and see it for yourself in person.
We're just getting started here in the Windy City, and the hometown Chicago Wind are coming up next against the team that entered the weekend with more points than any other in the entire league, the Florida Crocs. That's coming up in about 67, 68 minutes or so. For now, for Matt Hetherington and our entire crew, Evan Lepler saying so long. The Carolina Gold Rush take it over the Princeton Revolution. 14-7 was the final.